Most people spend their entire career working for money, 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, decade after decade working for it, chasing it, trying to hold on to it, but almost nobody stops to ask, when does money start working for you? Josh did. He's got $900 from a work bonus, and he's about to put every dollar of it to work. In this video, we'll walk through exactly how dividend investing works, starting with just $900. You'll see how Josh picks his stocks, builds a real portfolio, and what happens when you project it decades into the future. And at the end, I'll show you how Josh turns that $900 into a $331,000 portfolio, paying over $4,400 every single month in dividends. But before we get there, let's talk about where Josh is right now. Josh has a decent salary, but zero investments. His friends are spending their paychecks. New phones, weekend trips, things that feel good for 2 weeks then disappear. Josh watches all of it and feels something different. He doesn't want to spend this month's money. He wants to build something for the future. Today, he has $900, a work bonus sitting in his account, and he's asking himself, is this actually enough to start something real? Josh has $900 and he's ready to invest, but there's a reason he didn't do this sooner. The same reason most people don't. They think their money is fine where it is. The number in the savings account doesn't go down, so it must be fine. But safe and neutral are two very different things. Every year, inflation reduces what your money can actually buy. Back in 2020, inflation was calm, hovering around 1%. Then everything changed. By 2022, it had climbed past 8%, the highest in over 4 decades. Groceries, rent, gas, utilities, everything shot up fast. By 2025, inflation has cooled to around 2.7%. But here's where it still hurts. The average savings account earns just 0.4%. That means you're losing roughly 2% of your purchasing power every single year. And most people don't even notice because the number in their account looks the same. And wages aren't keeping pace either. The average U.S. household income grew about 1.3% last year, while inflation ran more than twice as fast. On paper, a raise, in real life, falling behind. Here's what that actually feels like. If your weekly grocery bill was $200 in 2020, that same cart costs roughly $250 today. That's $2,600 extra a year for the exact same food. Now apply that to rent, gas, insurance, and you feel it everywhere. Doing nothing with $900 isn't neutral. Letting it sit at 0.4% while inflation runs at 2.7% is a choice. It just doesn't feel like one. Josh looks at his savings account. The number is fine. He's not in trouble. But for the first time, he sees it differently. Not his money that's safe, but his money that's slowly shrinking. He's done waiting. Investing gives your money a fighting chance to grow faster than prices rise, and dividend investing gives beginners one of the clearest paths to do exactly that. But can Josh actually do this with just $900? The honest answer is yes. But the reason most people think $900 isn't enough is the same reason they keep waiting. They're focused on the size of the deposit when they should be focused on the size of the runway. And there are 3 reasons why. First, fractional shares. Modern brokerages let you invest in any stock for whatever dollar amount you choose. If a stock trades at $500, you can put in $180 and own a fraction of it. Dividends and returns are calculated based on what you own. $900 is enough to build real positions across 5 different companies, which is exactly what Josh does. Second, time is worth more than money. The most powerful force in building wealth isn't how much you put in on day one. It's how many years you give it to compound. $900 starting in your mid-20s and growing for 30 years does something that $10,000 starting at 55 simply cannot. Third, think about what $900 represents. It's more than a month's car payment, a weekend trip, the latest phone. Every one of those things loses value the moment you buy it. $900 invested does the opposite. It grows, generates income, and keeps working even when Josh isn't. Josh feels the same. He thinks about the last time he spent $900 without thinking twice. He can't even name it. The money was gone, and he had nothing to show for it. This time is different. He opens his brokerage account, the bonus is sitting there, and today becomes his starting line. Now that Josh is in, let's break down what dividend investing actually is and why it works. When you buy a stock, you're buying a small ownership stake in a company. Some companies share a portion of their profits with owners on a regular schedule. That payment is called a dividend. It arrives regardless of what the stock price is doing that day. Market up, market down. As long as you own the shares, the cash hits your account. Dividend investing builds a strategy around companies that consistently pay and grow those dividends. Instead of buying stocks hoping to sell for a profit someday, you collect income while you hold. But one dividend payment isn't what makes this powerful. It's what you do with it. DRIP stands for Dividend Reinvestment Plan. Instead of taking your dividend as cash, you use it to automatically buy more shares of the same stock. Those new shares earn their own dividends. Those dividends buy even more shares. The cycle keeps feeding itself automatically without you doing anything after the initial setup. To understand exactly how it works, let's slow it down with a simple example. Say you invest $100 in a stock priced at $2 per share. That gives you 50 shares. The stock pays a 5% dividend yield. Here's what happens over 3 years when you reinvest every single payment instead of taking it as cash. By year 1, your 50 shares generate $5 in dividends. That's 5% of your $100 investment. Instead of pocketing that $5, DRIP automatically uses it to buy more shares at $2 each. That buys you 2.5 new shares. You now own 52.5 shares. Your investment base is now worth $105. By year 2, now your dividends are calculated on 52.5 shares, not the original 50. At 5%, that generates $5.25. DRIP buys another 2.625 shares at $2. You now own 55.125 shares. The investment base is now at $110.25. By year 3, 55.125 shares at 5% generates $5.51 in dividends. DRIP buys $2.756 more shares. You now own 57.88 shares. The investment base is now $115.76. Now look at what's actually happening here. You started with 50 shares, you added $0 of your own money after the initial $100, and by the end of year 3, you own 57.88 shares, nearly 8 extra shares that you never paid for out of your own pocket. Your investment grew from $100 to $115.76 entirely through reinvestment. That's the snowball effect starting to form. DRIP clicked for Josh in a way he didn't expect. It's not magic, it's math, and the math works as long as he stays patient and keeps the dividends in. He sets DRIP to on. He doesn't plan to touch it. But DRIP only works if the companies behind it are worth holding. Not every dividend stock is. So before Josh puts his $900 to work, he runs it through a filter. Thousands of companies trade publicly. A few hundred pay dividends consistently. A much smaller group has what it takes to hold for decades. Josh narrows it down using 5 filters. First is dividend yield. That's the annual dividend as a percentage of a share price. The healthy range for a DRIP strategy is 2 to 5%. Anything above 7 or 8% is often a red flag. It usually signals financial stress and a dividend that could get cut right when you start depending on it. Second is dividend growth. This is more important than the starting yield. A company raising its dividend year after year signals growing earnings and shareholder commitment. Over 30 years, strong dividend growth turns a modest income stream into a large one without adding a single dollar. Third is share price appreciation. The best dividend stocks don't just pay, they grow in value. Income and capital appreciation working at the same time. Fourth is business durability. Will this company still be relevant in 20 years? Trendy companies come and go. The strongest dividend players operate in sectors that never go out of style. Agriculture, consumer essentials, utilities, real estate, media. Essential businesses keep paying through recessions because people keep needing what they provide. Fifth is recession resilience. Look at a company's history through 2008, 2020, and 2022. Did it keep paying? Did it keep rising? An unbroken payout record through difficult markets is one of the strongest trust signals a dividend investor can find. Josh isn't hunting for the most exciting ticker. He's hunting for 5 businesses that will still be depositing money into his account in 2055. He runs the filter, 5 names make the cut, and At the end, I'll show you how these 5 turned Josh's $900 into a $331,000 portfolio, paying over $4,400 a month in dividends. But first, here's where the $900 goes. Josh splits his $900 into 5 equal positions, $180 each. Equal weight by design. No single bet, no one sector dominating. Every position pulls its weight. The first is SCHD, Schwab U.S. Dividend Equity ETF. This is the foundation. It's not a single company. It's a basket of over 100 of the strongest dividend-paying businesses in the United States, all screened for financial health, consistent cash flow, and sustainable payout ratios. When Josh puts $180 in SCHD, he's not making one bet. He's gaining exposure to over 100 companies in a single purchase. Companies that have already proven that they can pay through different market environments. SCHD currently yields 3.32%, has grown its dividend at 10.61% annually over the past decade, and its share price has appreciated 9.47% per year. For Josh, SCHD does the heavy lifting of diversification and gives the rest of the portfolio a rock-solid base to build on. Next up is AGM, Federal Agricultural Mortgage Corporation, also known as Farmer Mac. It's a financial institution that provides capital for agricultural lending across rural America, supporting the loans that farmers, ranchers, and rural communities depend on to operate. Agriculture is one of the most essential and recession-resistant industries there is. People have to eat regardless of what the market is doing. What makes AGM stand out is its dividend growth. Over the past decade, it has grown its dividend at 25.08% annually, one of the strongest growth rates in the entire market. It currently yields 4.04% with 17.25% annual share price appreciation. AGM isn't a household name. It operates in the background of the American economy, and that consistency is exactly what makes it powerful for a long-term portfolio. From there, Josh goes with TSCO, Tractor Supply Company, the largest rural lifestyle retailer in the United States. Farming tools, livestock supplies, pet food, clothing, and everyday essentials for rural and suburban communities across the country. The keyword is essentials. People who shop at Tractor Supply aren't buying luxuries. They're buying what their farms, their animals, and their properties require. That kind of demand holds up in any economy. TSCO yields 1.8%, the lowest in this portfolio, but its dividend growth rate of 19.24% annually over the past decade tells a more important story. That growth rate means the income Josh earns from this position will be significantly larger 10 years from now than it is today without him adding a single dollar. Share price has appreciated 11.81% annually. TSCO is a patient compounding machine. Then there's NXSD, Nexstar Media Group, the largest local television broadcasting company in the United States, owning and operating stations in over 200 markets across the country. Local television has proven to be one of the most durable forms of media, particularly around election cycles, breaking news, and local sport coverage, which drive consistent, predictable advertising revenue that streaming services simply can't replicate at the local level. NXSD currently yields 3.2%, has grown its dividend at 24.83% per year over the past decade, and its share price has appreciated 18.17% annually. That combination, strong yield, exceptional dividend growth, and impressive price appreciation, makes one of the most powerful compounders in this entire portfolio. And rounding it out is CubeSmart, a self-storage real estate investment trust, a REIT, with over 1,500 facilities across the United States. Self-storage performs well in almost any economic condition. When people move, they need storage. When they downsize, they need storage. Divorces, job relocations, estate cleanouts. Demand stays consistent regardless of what the economy is doing. As a REIT, CubeSmart is legally required to distribute at least 90% of its taxable income as dividends. That structure creates a naturally high, reliable payout. Cube currently yields at 5.3%, the highest in this portfolio, with 11.72% annual dividend growth and 2.85% share price appreciation. Its job in Josh's portfolio is to anchor the income side. It pays the most today and compounds that income steadily every year. Now zoom out and look at all 5 together. To get the portfolio's combined dividend yield, you add up each stock's yield. 3.32% from SCHD, 4.04% from AGM, 1.8% from TSCO, 3.2% from an XSD, and 5.3% from Cube. That gives you 17.66%. Divide by 5, and you get a portfolio dividend yield of 3.53%. You do the exact same thing for the other 2 metrics. Average out the dividend growth rates, and you get 18.3% per year. Average out your share price appreciation, and you get 11.91% per year. So now you have 3 numbers that define this portfolio: what it yields, how fast that yield is growing, and how fast the underlying value is climbing. Those 3 working together is what drives everything in the projection. Josh looks at the 5 positions, $180 each, 5 companies that have been building wealth for their shareholders for years. Now, for the first time, Josh is one of those shareholders. He turns drip on across all 5. So what does $900 actually turn into? Let's run the projection. In year 1, the portfolio would grow from $900 to $1,039 with $32 in dividends. It's a small start. It's supposed to be the snowball is just forming. By year 10, it would climb to $4,198, nearly 5 times the original amount, generating $219 a year, about $18 a month. Josh wouldn't have added a single dollar beyond his initial $900. Compounding and reinvestment would have done this entirely on their own. Year 20 is where it starts to feel different. The portfolio would sit at $27,557 and dividends would have grown to $2,558, over $213 every month. Then the 3rd decade hits and compounding fully takes over. By year 30, the portfolio would cross $331,171 with annual dividends of $52,881, over $4,400 a month. At this point, Josh's portfolio wouldn't just be supplementing his income. It could replace it. Across 30 years, Josh's total out-of-pocket contribution would be $900, but the portfolio would be sitting at $331,171. That gap, over $330,000, wouldn't be money Josh ever earned or deposited. That's compounding doing what it does when you give it enough time. If you want to see what $25 a week can do with the same strategy, but with a portfolio built to hit $1.6 million and pay over $5,000 a month in dividends, click the video on screen right now.